This week on the podcast, I'm answering the questions that I got the most about my trip to Walt Disney World. What's it like traveling with the COVID restrictions? How did I work from Walt Disney World? And what kind of job do I have anyway? Stay tuned to find out. You're listening to the Pixie Dust Fan Podcast. Hi, I'm Francine.
And I'm Carrie.
We're two best friends who can't stop talking, usually about Disney stuff.
Sometimes we have fascinating guests, and sometimes it's just us, but it's always positive and fun.
We're happy to have you join our chat. Thanks for listening, and let's get started. Hi, Carrie.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm all right.
Just all right?
Yeah. Just all right.
Just all right.
It's like hot. It's really hot here. It's really hot. We've had like so much heat and humidity. It's just can't enjoy the summer.
Yeah. The humidity it's horrible, isn't it?
It is. Canada humidity is horrible in the summertime.
So I'm not missing much. Well, I did see somebody post. Somebody posted that it was hotter in Toronto than it was in Florida.
And I think it's supposed to stay this way through the rest of the week. But yeah, that and the fact that like the summer, like it's almost the end of the summer. Like I think this is the fastest summer ever. That's all.
Oh.
That's why I'm just okay.
Yeah.
It's hot as Hades and okay. Summer's over. I think you know how like, you know, you have like there's certain machinery that like logs like hours that you use or whatever. Like I think I haven't logged very many outside hours this summer, and I think I just realized that it's like the end of the summertime, and I'm like, if you were to log how many hours I spent in the fresh air this summer, I don't think it'd be very many. I'd still be brand new.
You haven't been outside at all.
So that's the conclusions I've made this week. So
that's the kicker. Yeah. You need to get outside in the fall.
But I guess because I can't now because it's so hot
it's
inside.
Too hot.
So hot. Yeah, the cats have to stay inside. You just sit in the air conditioning. So
yeah, for sure.
So I think you made it happen though, because you know you're sweating in Florida and you thought, well, you know, share the wealth. Yeah.
I gotta tell you, Carrie, this is brutal. Like, who are we kidding? I'm thrilled to be in Florida, but Florida in August is not fun. It's not for the faint of heart.
Mm-mm.
And especially not for people who have done nothing for a year and a half. You know, like barely been outside and then, yeah.
Yeah. And there's lots of people that like to travel in August to Disney, like to try to squeeze in a trip before the back to school, because we go back to school later after Labor Day, and people do it year in and year out, and they love it. I guess it's just, you make the most of it and you go with the flow. Maybe, you know, you do things a little bit differently. You spend a lot of time at the pools. I don't know. But there's loads of people that go.
Some people are made for the heat like that. I'm not.
I guess.
I'm definitely
I'm not either. So what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about... Are we going to wrap up your trip?
Yeah, I wrap up my trip on land because we'll cover the cruise when I get back from that. But I got a lot of questions from people just... And it's kind of one of those things where you and I were talking, saying it might be like maybe lots of people have the same questions.
Yeah, like a lot of people ask you, like they asked you stuff about, you know, you getting there and you getting home, all of like the testing you had to do and being vaccinated and stuff like that. I think you've covered that a lot in the other podcast because you've told, you know, you explained how you got there.
For sure. How I got there.
and you're going to explain how you're going to get home.
Yeah. And, you know, I can cover that once I'm home. But I think, you know, it's so important to understand that my experience is my experience right now. And things change so quickly. So it's best to make sure that you're checking the government websites and checking your airline and checking all the requirements before your own trip. Because what worked for me this trip may not work for you next trip.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think even when you're there, you have to stay on top of it to make sure nothing has changed. Like,
oh my
you know,
goodness,
where you're
Carrie,
gonna get your
the anxiety. Remember we talked about? I was terrified I was going to take the wrong test. Blah blah blah. Let me tell you, now I have the fears and the anxieties about testing positive at the port. So I've read the requirement 7 times for Disney Cruise Line that I do not need a test before I go. But I'll read it 17 more times between now and then. And then my fear is, of course, because I had to upload and do all that safe passage stuff and give them my vaccination and everything else. But yeah, I'm worried I'm going to test positive and they won't let me on the ship.
It'll be fine.
I know, but you got to be paranoid, right?
Mm-hmm.
It just comes with
yeah, I think... Yeah, I think that's you're just human nature that most people probably are worried.
Yeah, for sure.
You know. I think you got a lot of comments about and questions about you working from
oh my goodness.
Disney.
So Carrie, yeah, we got to clear this up because I got on Instagram, Facebook, like everybody. What kind of job do you have? I want your job. Do you need an assistant? Blah blah blah. So
like, let's clear the let's if you need an assistant, I'm the assistant here, okay? Don't be posting any jobs if that opportunity arises, okay? Let me just put it out there.
But like, for those that don't know, I have an unmagical job. It's a corporate job with a company in Toronto that usually required me to be in the office 5 days a week. But because of the pandemic, we were sent home. And we've been working from home for the last year and a half. My office is talking about making us go back into the office at the end of September, which is why I was in a rush to get to Florida, because I was like, forget it. Like, while we're all quote unquote working from home, I'm going to make Disney my home for a few weeks and work from here, you know, before they figure out whatever. Now, of course, because of the cases and all that other stuff, now it's looking like October. Who knows? But I don't have a big glamorous job. It's not a Disney job, and I'm just taking advantage of the whole working remotely during the pandemic and saying.
And it worked. And it worked well, right? From,
you know, yeah. Like, I was completely productive. I was talking to a colleague today, and I said to him, like, when I'm in my house working, I feel like, oh, I should be doing the laundry, or when I take a break, maybe I should clean the bathroom, or I should do this, or I should, you know, all those shoulds you should do in your house. When you're in a hotel room, there's nothing you should be doing except working. Like, I don't have to clean the bathroom or, you know, do the laundry. Like, I just need to work. So
that's cool. And the Wi-Fi
I was very
held up.
focused. Yeah. Oh my goodness, the Wi-Fi was great at Coronado and at Saratoga. So, yeah, it held up fine. It was very good. Yeah. And the one day that I ran out at lunch, Carrie, and I was like, can I make it to Disney Springs and back? I ran over to Earl of Sandwich, got a sandwich, and came back in 40 minutes. That's pretty cool. On my lunch.
Yeah, you don't take a lunch break at home. You actually took lunch breaks.
I did because I had something fun to do.
Otherwise, you just skip lunch and you'll eat it later or whatever. Yeah,
you just work through.
That's inspiring. I think maybe that will inspire many to try to do the same.
Hey, while you're remote working, why not?
That's cool. I'm sure everybody just thinks that's awesome that you did that. You took advantage of the opportunity. Well,
so many other people were working from their cottages and their little getaways, so this is mine.
Very true. Yeah, no, it's like, right? I think it's exactly the same.
Exactly. And I was prepared with that explanation should my vice president ever ask for it.
Sir, ma'am, did you work at your cottage at all during the pandemic? You did? Oh, well, so did I.
Right?
It's my Yeah, I guess you could just finesse the DVC timeshare wording a little bit and be like, I have property in Florida.
I have property there. Yeah, for sure.
People asked about you because you hopped around to so many resorts. That went smoothly, right? You moved from resort to resort to resort.
Yes.
And you're actually moving to one more resort.
I know.
Before you get on the cruise ship. So that all went smoothly?
You know what? It really did. Like, normally Disney will move your luggage for you, and they've stopped moving cold foods. So they won't, anything that's refrigerated, they won't move. But they'll move your luggage for you. And we've used them. We always do split stays, and I've used them before to do it. But this time, I moved my luggage myself. Well, not myself. I got a lift. So I used Lyft a lot this trip, and I just ordered like an extra large lift because, you didn't want them coming in a little tiny car with my suitcases.
With all of your bags.
But I ordered an extra large lift, and it worked perfectly. And then I checked my bags into Bell Services when I arrived at the new resort. And then at least, like, when my room was ready, I knew my bags were there. When Disney moves them for you, sometimes they don't arrive until, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, or you have to call for them.
Yeah.
Hello, where's my bags?
Where is it? Do you have it? Has it arrived? Yeah.
And you got your rooms sort of earlier too, right? You didn't have to wait till the check-in time, which was good too.
No. So at Coronado, my room was ready as soon as I got there. Which was pretty early. Like, I think I was there at like 11 o'clock. And at Saratoga, I waited about an hour and a half. But it was fine because it was lunchtime and I was hungry anyway. So I just went for lunch. And then when it was ready. My room was ready and I went to go get my bags at Bell Services, they drove me to my room. Because me and the golf carts. Well, that's kind of a Saratoga thing too, I think. They throw you on a golf cart because it's so big. It's so big. And me in this resort.
And you get lost too, right? Like, well, even when you first get there, you get lost trying to drag your bags to wherever it needs to be.
Yeah.
So, I think the problem, that's just, we talked about this, that, whatever. I think what everybody really wants to hear is they want to hear how many cupcakes you ate. People asked a lot of questions about your cupcakes. So people want to know how many cupcakes you're eating, but they also had a beef with you because you haven't been posting all the cupcakes that you're eating. So what's the deal? Are you going to do a collage? Are you going to do a movie to some music? Are you going to keep them all to yourself? Like, how come you're not sharing? I know you're eating cupcakes because you're telling me you're eating cupcakes.
Yeah, I'm not eating many cupcakes as I normally would, and I have to. It's the heat.
Are you afraid? Are you afraid you're gonna be shamed that you haven't eaten? You declare that you're the cupcake queen.
No,
does she really? Does she really love cupcakes?
The heat. It's the heat, Carrie. Even tonight. I was at Disney Springs and I thought, I had dinner, I could use something sweet. And I was walking through Disney Springs and I went into Goofy's Candy Company. And I thought, I'll grab a cupcake. And I felt gross. Like, the heat was just too much.
It's a shame.
I know. Like,
it's really a shame.
Honest to goodness, like, there were days that I really didn't eat. Which is amazing that I'm as fat as I am when I've been walking 15,000 steps and I'm not really eating a lot because it's so gross. So the cupcakes have been few and far between because the heat.
Like, have you had 5 cupcakes?
Oh, I've had more than 5 cupcakes. Let me... Because I went to Sprinkles my very first day at Saratoga.
You're not getting out of this that easy.
And I got 4 cupcakes, and then I just brought them back to my room. So I had those 4 nights in a row.
Right. That was And then you did have some fancy ones. You
at Bay Lake Tower, yeah. Mm-hmm. And then at Coronado, I had a couple. So yeah, I mean, really, I did have some cupcakes. I didn't have a ton
just not
of
a cupcake a day.
I didn't have a cupcake a day, but I had a lot of cupcakes. Yeah, now that we think about it, yeah, I've had a lot of cupcakes.
Well, I'm glad we didn't do like, because I joked that we should do like a cupcake,
like an over-under or something.
Whatever, yeah, like where, you know, when people guess like when a baby's born or something, like I thought we should do like a cupcake derby thing where we're gonna figure, everyone can like guess how many cupcakes you ate, and then draw a prize or something. Whoever gets the closest will draw a prize. But I'm glad we didn't do that, because you haven't been showing us your cupcakes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Sorry.
I thought maybe you're gonna come back and say that you threw cupcakes at the window and you turned over to the pretzel side with me.
No, I haven't had a pretzel yet. I have not had a pretzel yet, but I haven't had a pretzel yet, and I haven't had a carrot cake cookie. Like seriously, I've had one Dole Whip. I know.
It's just shame. It's a shame.
It's the heat, man. It's the heat. I'm telling you.
So from that then, because you not being able to eat cupcakes, not being able to eat a lot of treats is definitely, you know, something different about your trip. So I'm interested to know what you thought was different about this trip compared to all the other trips, and if any of that, the differences you thought made it a better experience, or I'm not going to say a worse experience, but, you know, a little bit more disappointed in the experience that you're used to. Like, not being able to eat all your treats.
So,
like, spill the beans on that.
It has been a very different vacation. It's, aside from the heat, which, you know, will happen every year, from the pandemic point of view and things reopening and things like that, it has been a different experience. For me, I didn't go on all the attractions. I didn't want to put myself in the middle of crowds. But also, not everything is really open totally. So, yes, there's no character dining or character meets or things like that. There's no parades. There are the cavalcades, and those are fun, and I love those. But even, like, at the resorts, the food stations. Like, I sent you pictures that one night of Coronado Springs. That food court was one of my favorites. Because you could get nachos, you could get burgers, like you could get everything in that food court. It was fantastic. And there was a variety, but like the food was all pre-made and sitting on hot plates. Like you couldn't go up and order your food and then have it made for you. And that was the same at Art of Animation. At Pop Century, they had just opened the food stations when I was there. And they weren't even completely open. Yeah, so that, and even at the Contempo Cafe, you know I love the Contempo Cafe. It's my favorite. Even there, their menu was very limited. And I don't know whether that's just the lack of guests or the lack of cast members. Like, I know they're in a hiring, because they got to hire back all the cast members.
Yeah. And was it just like that at the resorts? Like, it wasn't like that at the parks? Like, when you see on all the different Disney sites, and that they're always showing us like new treats or things returning, or, you know, fancy Dole Whips and you know, all of these themed things they have for whatever celebration they're having. Like, looking at that, it looks like everything is back to normal. Like, did you notice it in the park, or do you think it was just at the resorts?
I think it was just at the resorts. I think the parks were fairly normal, with the exception of the fact that you have to mobile order everywhere. Like, for the most part, you're mobile ordering, and then they're limiting people going in to the quick service, right? Because they want to keep everybody, like, they don't want it overflowing, and you know that I like to eat inside. I don't like to eat outside in the heat. So that part, not knowing whether there was going to be a seat inside, like not being able to get in first and have a look around, that was different for me. But yeah, then the one night, like when I went for, when I was eating in the Magic Kingdom, it was fine. Like there was literally nobody in the quick service. So.
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's different. And But the wait times and stuff have been not bad because the standby lines are not being held up by fast passes. So that's been great. Right. Like
so even though the lines look like they're long, they're not, the wait times aren't as long.
Exactly. Like the few attractions that I did, like those lines, even Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Like when we got in the line, it was a bigger line. Like, you know, when you get into that Chinese theater and it kind of wraps back. It's similar to like the Great Movie Ride where it wraps back to the front. Like we were walking. Like it wasn't like we weren't stopped for minutes on end. Right? Like the line moves. It's a different experience with the lines. For sure. Which of course is why I'm so kind of excited about the Genie. Because of that.
Yeah.
Right? Like I've seen that as such a positive experience having no fast passes. So, yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. But I think, you know, sorry, go on.
No, go. It's all right. Go on.
Yeah, I think that, I was just going to say, I think that's what makes me so hopeful for the Genie.
Yeah. I agree. I had somebody ask me at work what I thought. They were like, so what do you think about that? And I think they were expecting me to be like, oh my goodness, I can't believe it. And I gave them kind of the opposite answer. And then she's like, explain then, why do you feel that way? So, yeah, I'll have to start spreading.
You should have just said, listen to the podcast.
I said, funny you ask. I happen to know my opinion on it because I've already talked about it. So, any survival tips for going at this time of year, whether it's hot or because of COVID?
Yeah, I would say you got to come with the right expectations. Like if this was someone's first time at Disney, I'd say don't do it. Right?
Well, that's one thing we did talk about that a little bit, right? Like we kind of assumed all along that maybe this time wasn't the best time. Even the months before when things were really slow and not everything was back, that it wasn't the best time for somebody new. But I don't know, from your experience, like it might not be the best time for someone, like depending on what their expectations are, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I think it's important that you go with the right expectations. Like I had said before I even got here, I don't care if I get on no attractions. I just want my feet on the ground. And that's literally what I've had, right? Like I did some attractions, not a ton, but I'm okay with that. And it didn't bother me at all. But I think no regrets. But I think other people, you know, depending on how often you visit, like if you visit if you're a Disney fan and you visit once a year, I don't know that this would be the right thing for you. Unless you are comfortable doing the attractions and being in the crowds. If you're comfortable with that, then you'd be okay. Mm-hmm. So I think it really comes down to your own comfort level, what you would extend yourself to do. I wasn't comfortable being in the crowd, so I didn't do them. But I think the heat, you have to be, like if you've never vacationed here in the summer, you have to be so prepared for the heat exhaustion, the heat rash. Wearing the mask inside, no problem. Wearing the mask in the humidity, because you don't have, right now, you don't have to wear it outside. Who knows, that could change. But right now, you don't have to wear it outside. But when it's crowded and there's a lot of people around me, I had my mask on. And I can tell you, I had a huge heat rash on my face from the mask. Like, it was hard.
Yeah. And you can't really, I don't know. You need a mask that's like made it like that's made of like a cooling towel or something. Like a mask that's like hydrating. Yeah. A hydrating mask.
A hydrating mask. Yeah, my cooling towel was another saving grace for sure.
And lots of water. How many bottles of water do you think you drank?
So my first, when I arrived, I ordered 76 bottles of water. So a pack of 40 and a 36. And So it was just over 2 weeks, I finished those. That is not including the ones that I bought at the parks.
Wow. It's a lot of water.
I know. And I'm by myself. And I didn't waste any or anything. Like, I drank them. Yeah.
Yeah, like if you had other people there, how you make everybody drink all the water, you'd need 10 cases to get you through that time.
I know. That it's so important though to drink the water here. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you're hydrated.
Yes.
I'm not hydrated.
Yeah, because I haven't been yelling at you to be drinking your water.
Yeah.
Well,
and you didn't. And yeah.
The other question that many people have been asking me is, are you happy you went? 100,000%
on the list. Yep.
100,000%. So happy. It's been a trip of a lifetime. I'm so
trip
excited.
Of a lifetime.
You know what, Carrie? So there's something special, and I was saying this to somebody at work too. Like, I think there's something wrong with me. I like being by myself. Like, I really do. Like, I'm totally okay going and getting something to eat or going on an attraction or just wandering the park or just sitting on a bed. Like, I'm totally fine being by myself.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like,
you live alone. There's nothing wrong with you. You live alone and you've spent the last year and a half by yourself. Like,
but I like it. So that part, like, I would get up in the morning and just be like, what do I want to do today? Like, remember, Phineas and Ferb? I know what we're going to do today. And I just get up in the morning and, like, I even got to Epcot one night and my thing went red. And she's like, did you make a park reservation? I'm like, no, I didn't. Because I didn't know what I was going to do today.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, it was not a problem. She just made one.
I'm not surprised. I think that would be such an easy, we never had been before with Park Pass reservations. And to be there for that time and, to forget multiple times that you just can't walk into a park.
Yeah. So I was so that happened to me.
I think I would have done that 10 times.
Yeah. Yeah. But I have loved every minute of being here. I'm looking forward to seeing the cruise and what kind of, what it's like there. Our friends did the cruise and they said that they felt incredibly safe on the cruise, that they really kept things, kept people segregated and that kind of stuff from each other. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I think it'll be awesome. Would I do it again? In a heartbeat. In a heartbeat.
All alone. With her friends and family at home. Wondering if she's eating cupcakes. Hoping that she's, feeding herself and she's not starving to death.
Well, the next time, my friends and family are just going to have to come with me.
Well, you said all along you were okay with being there by yourself. You know, right? You'll be fine. I'm sure there's lots of people that the thought of being away for that long, in a place like Walt Disney World where you think, it's Walt Disney World. Why would, being there by yourself for so long? But you knew from the beginning you were going to be okay with that, so. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I was fine. Yeah. Well, the last question that I got today, I got a question half an hour ago asking me, when do you go home and when's your next trip? Oh, wow. So I'm flying home, obviously, after the cruise, and then I will be back here with my friends and family. Unfortunately. In October. So mid-October, we are coming, because you know what, Carrie? For all of the time, all of the questions that I got, I must have gotten a whole ton of, where's Carrie and why didn't she come? So I've told everybody, because of your job and what was going on at your work, you could not get away to come down with me. Yeah. But in October, you're free to travel. I am. And I keep joking with you that maybe I'll go down there and I'll stay. I won't go home. I'll pull a, maybe I have some DVC points that need to be used. And maybe I'll stay there for a month. Yeah, maybe. No, that's not going to happen. No. But
But you're coming down.
It's fun to.
We're coming for, I think it's 9 days?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I
Anyway,
think so.
we've got some reservations.
We haven't booked our flights yet.
We haven't booked our flights yet. My sister's like having a heart failure about the whole thing because, you know, she's the planner, which is why I'm so totally not a planner, right? Like, I take advantage of the fact that I don't have to plan now while I'm here by myself. She's already like, when are we booking the flights? What are we having for dinner? Where are we going to this? But like, she's all over it. I think we have park reservations for October. I don't even have park reservations for tomorrow, but she's got reservations for us in October. So yeah, so we'll be back here in October, get to see some of the 50th. We'll get a chance to see the new fireworks at Magic Kingdom, at Epcot.
I hope it's cooler.
Oh, it better be.
Do you think it'll be cooler? If not, can you pack me a cooling cloth? I know you have a lot of them. Can you pack me a cooling towel?
You got it. You got it. I have extras. I have extras. Well, I think we covered everything that everyone was asking.
I think so. We want to just, you needed to wrap it up and give your final thoughts and tips and tricks and experiences since you were there for so long.
And give you the explanation, the real explanation of my cupcakes.
Yes. I'm glad I got to mention it because
well, you know what? And it's bugging me now because you totally stole my Pixie Dust.
Oh.
My Pixie Dust was my cupcakes that I got at Sprinkles. That I finally got to get some Sprinkles cupcakes, and I had a red velvet and a caramel.
Like finally this trip got to happen. It's like you've had Sprinkles before.
I know, but it's been like 18 months. I don't even think we had Sprinkles in the January when we were here, which means that it was the December before. Wow. It was a long time.
I like sprinkle cupcakes are okay, but...
Oh, I love the salted caramel and the red velvet. Love them. Love them. Okay, Carrie. So see, I went first this time. That was my Pixie Dust. What was yours?
Oh my goodness. Well, it took me a little bit to think of my Pixie Dust because I didn't think that I had any. But then I remembered that it's that ever since I went to work, because I've been going to work pretty much every single day for the last 3 weeks and loving it, which I think I said last time.
Yeah.
My cat Figaro, every night at bedtime, he cuddles with me now because I think he misses me because I was home for 18 months.
Because he's used to having you at home all day, every day.
I think so. So before, like, if I wanted, like, if I grabbed him to try to get him to, like, lay with me, he wouldn't have anything to do with it. And then if I would, like, call him, I'd be like, Figaro! And he never would come. And so all, like, for the last week, he as soon as I go to bed, he comes and lays with me and lays right up beside me and goes to sleep. So I think he misses me. So that's my Pixie Dust. That my Figaro is awesome. my newest snuggle bunny. So
that's awesome.
Prince Charming's always my snuggle bunny, but now, and if it keeps up, I might have to get a bigger bed. So hopefully it's just a phase.
See, you can find Pixie Dust anywhere, Carrie.
I know. I had to say that to myself. Carrie, I think you can find some Pixie Dust.
You can.
And I did. So that's my Pixie Dust. So, yeah.
Well, thank you again to everybody for listening this week again. And, you know what would be great? I would love for some suggestions of games for us to play. So I did get some feedback from my nephew today.
What did he say?
He was listening to the podcast where we did the game with the reviews.
The recent one was, yeah.
And he's like, what's wrong with you two? I knew what they were. I was yelling at you both. He's like,
yeah, maybe someone should come on the show and play the games with us.
Right? So that's what I said. I'm like, you should come on and host one of the games or play with us. But yeah, he's not going to think of the game. So we need some good suggestions for some games for us to play that we would that you guys would like to hear, because he said he thought they were a lot of fun. So would love to hear.
They're definitely a lot of fun to record.
Oh, they are. Yeah. So yeah, definitely want to hear from you. That would be That would be great.
We should do the hide and seek one again, because that one was fun. Now that once, like, it's been long enough.
It's been long enough. We could do it again,
and we understand the game, so we probably would play it a little bit differently the second time around. So yeah, I think we should do that.
Okay,
we just need to find somebody.
Let's do that.
To do that with us.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you again, everyone, and stay tuned. Next episode will be cruise review.
Ships ahoy! Is that a good thing to say?
Ships
bon
ahoy.
What does ships ahoy mean?
I gotta Google that. I was thinking Chips Ahoy.
Well, that's a cookie, yes.
Thanks for listening to the Pixie Dust Fan Podcast. We hope you enjoyed the episode.
Make sure you're following us on your favorite podcast player so you'll get a new episode every week. And find us on social media too. We'd love to hear from you.
Till next time, remember, you are never too old to be young. Chase your dreams and design your own happily ever after.